Hi everyone, welcome to the Filipino FM channel, your home for Filipino Football Manager content. So we are back today. So in the last video, we looked at the perfect player and how they got on starting off in the Philippines Football League. And today, for this video, we're going to look at the perfect goalkeeper. So here is our perfect goalkeeper. As you can see, he has 20s in every single attribute except eccentricity, which is better to have a 1 in that attribute as opposed to a 20. We've also made him to be 170 centimeters tall. For Americans, that's about 5'7". He is Filipino, so we had to make it somewhat realistic. In our last video with the perfect player, we started off the perfect player at Mendiola. But as we saw in that last video, Mendiola is a semi-professional team. So this time, we're starting off the perfect goalkeeper at Maharlika, Manila, since this is a fully professional side. And we're going to see how our perfect goalkeeper gets on in a fully professional side. So looking at the season preview, Maharlika Manila is the lowest rated professional team in the Philippines Football League. So we're going to see if the perfect goalkeeper can help them rise up the table. As we can see here, the perfect goalkeeper does have a 1-year contract with Maharlika Manila. And being 15 years old, they should be eligible to leave soon. And we're going to follow their career to see where they go. Finally, we'll also be looking to see how far the perfect goalkeeper can take the Philippines. Can they get to a World Cup? Can they win a trophy? We're going to find out. So to start off, I think we're going to simulate 3 years into the future when the perfect goalkeeper will be 18 years old, and we'll catch up with you guys then. All right, welcome back. We are 3 years into the future with the perfect goalkeeper being 18 years old, and he has moved. We have gone from Maharlika Manila to FC Porto in Portugal. Looking at his career stats here, it looks like he moved from Maharlika Manila to FC Porto on a free. That is interesting. He must have moved right when he turned 18 years old. So looking at how the perfect goalkeeper did with Maharlika Manila, it looks like he didn't play every game, which is interesting, but he had some really good ratings, a 7.27 and a 7.29 rating. So he was playing really well when he played. And let's look and see how Maharlika Manila did in the Philippines Football League in those first 2 seasons. So looking at season 1, they were predicted to finish 6th and they ended up finishing 4th. So that is a pretty good season. It looks like the perfect goalkeeper may have helped them move up the league a little bit. Looking at the second season, it looks like they finished 4th again, around the same point total. And they did have a pretty good defensive record, only allowing 18 goals in 24 games. So it does look like the perfect goalkeeper was helping their defense out a lot. Looking at Maharlika Manila's schedule, in the first league, they had a terrible start, but it looks like they got better as the season went on. They didn't win the PFL Cup, which is kind of like the Philippines version of the FA Cup. Obviously, they finished 4th in the league. Looking at the next season, they lost in the PFL Cup final 2-1 to Kaya, who is one of the better teams in the Philippines. So the perfect goalkeeper did help them reach the PFL Cup final, but he did not win a trophy with Maharlika Manila. And looking at his first couple of seasons with Porto, I actually don't have the Portuguese league loaded to keep this database smaller, but it doesn't look like they have won anything since the perfect goalkeeper's arrival. Benfica won it in the first season. Sporting CP won the Portuguese Premier League in the second season. So it doesn't look like the perfect goalkeeper has any trophies to his name just yet. And finally, looking at his caps, at 18 years old, our perfect goalkeeper already has 22 international appearances. So he is a regular in the Filipino national team. How have they been getting on so far? Let's look at that. So beginning in our first season, they didn't do so well in the Southeast Asian Championship groups. Looking at World Cup qualifiers, it looks like they had a pretty good start to World Cup qualifiers. Again, didn't do so well in the Southeast Asian Championship. And looking at the World Cup qualifiers, it looks like a pretty rough road. But not so bad there. So looking at this schedule, it looks like the Philippines has at least a very good chance of qualifying for the World Cup. So we're going to simulate forward 1 more year and see if the Philippines made the World Cup with the perfect goalkeeper. All right, so we are 1 year into the future, and I have some great news. The Philippines made the World Cup. The perfect goalkeeper led the Philippines to the World Cup. They qualified out of Asia and they made the World Cup. They did play 2 games into the World Cup, losing 4-0 to Norway and 2-0 to Morocco. But the fact that the Philippines is even getting to the World Cup with the perfect goalkeeper, that is an amazing achievement. And this really shows how good the perfect goalkeeper is. Now, the Philippines did not make the World Cup in our last video with the perfect player, but the perfect goalkeeper has led them to a World Cup. Maybe the perfect goalkeeper might be having more of an impact than the perfect player was. That being said, looking at some of the perfect goalkeepers ratings, he did average a 6.5 and a 6.6 rating. That's not great, but when you're allowing 6 goals in 2 games, that might be expected. So I was looking around the perfect goalkeeper's individual awards for this year, and he has won a few awards since we last saw him. So first, he did win the 2025 Asian Young Footballer of the Year award, and this was a back-to-back win. He won the award in 2024 as well as part of Maharlika Manila and has won it again for FC Porta. He was also the 2025 European Golden Boy winner. We do see the perfect goalkeeper winning the Next Gen award. So clearly the game is recognizing his talents at a young age and he is winning a lot of these young awards. So I think now that we've seen the perfect goalkeeper, let's go 5 years into the future and catch up and see where his career has gone. All right, so we are 5 years into the future, and the perfect goalkeeper has made another big move. At 23 years old, he has been transferred to Arsenal in the English Premier League. And it looks like he came onto the team last season. So let's take a look at Arsenal and see how they did with the perfect goalkeeper with a £95 million fee. That is a huge transfer fee for a goalkeeper. So looking at how they did last season. So in the previous seasons, Arsenal finished third and then third again. And last season with the perfect goalkeeper, they did move up to second, 1 point behind Chelsea in the title race. And we'll see where they perform this season. Now, I am really curious because he did move for £95 million. There is not a whole lot of money in the Philippines Football League. So £95 million, as you guys might know, all transfer fees will go to the previous clubs. So even if Maharlika Manila got 1% of that transfer fee, that would be a huge boost for their club. So let's take a look at Maharlika Manila and see how they did in the Philippines Football League. So looking at how Maharlika Manila did last season, they won the league. Maharlika Manila won the league. After finishing fourth the previous season, they made a huge point gap to win the league. The money from the perfect goalkeeper's transfer to Arsenal must have helped propel Maharlika Manila to the top of the league. So even though they didn't win while the perfect goalkeeper was there, surely the long-term impact has helped Maharlika Manila win the Philippines Football League. And in the latest season, it would be really interesting to see how they did in the PF, and they won the PFL Cup. So they did do a league and cup double. Congratulations to Maharlika Manila. And certainly the perfect goalkeeper's transfer helped propel them to that league and cup double. And in the past 5 years after making the World Cup, let's see how the Philippines did with the perfect goalkeeper. So after the World Cup, it doesn't look like they did so well in the Southeast Asian Championship, not winning a single game in Group A. They did make the Asian Cup semifinal. That was also further than we got with the perfect player, where they only got to the Asian Cup quarterfinal, but they did lose to Japan 2-0. It does not look like they did so well in the World Cup qualifiers or the Southeast Asian Championships after that. They did a little bit better in Group B, but they did not make the 2030 World Cup from the looks of it. So with that in mind, with the perfect goalkeeper at Arsenal, let's simulate to the end of his career and see how he did. All right, we are at the end of the perfect goalkeeper's career. This is the last season that he played in, and it looks like he moved from Arsenal to Inter, which is a very interesting move. Looking at his career stats, he moved from Arsenal to Inter on a free a couple of seasons ago, and he has had some absolutely ridiculous goalkeeper ratings, consistently being above 7.0. Looking throughout his career, back from his time at Maharlika Manila, consistently getting some really high ratings. So the perfect goalkeeper was doing really well. So with that in mind, let's see how the perfect goalkeeper did with Arsenal and then Inter and see what he might have won at those clubs. So beginning with the English Premier Division, looking at how Arsenal did there, the perfect goalkeeper joined in 2029, and after that, Arsenal have completely dominated the EPL, winning it in 2030, then one, two, three, four, 5 times in a row. Then there was a period of dominance from Liverpool, and Arsenal won it 2 more times before Newcastle has taken hold. That is a total of 8 English Premier Divisions wins for Arsenal and the perfect goalkeeper. And looking at some of these seasons that Arsenal won the English Premier Division, it looks like their defense and possibly playing from the perfect goalkeeper had a big impact on them winning the league. They had the best defensive record here when they won it in their first season. Then Arsenal won it again with the best defensive record, consistently having less than 30 goals allowed. Another great defensive season. Another great defensive season. Only 17 goals allowed here. Certainly the perfect goalkeeper had a big impact on Arsenal winning the league because their defensive record is absolutely amazing in all of these seasons. So looking at past winners of the Golden Glove, it looks like the perfect goalkeeper definitely won more than a few Golden Gloves. He won 3 in a row between 2029 and 2031, winning it again in 2020 or 2033 before winning it twice in a row, 2036, 2037 seasons. So the perfect goalkeeper definitely won a few English Premier Division Golden Gloves. Moving on to his time at Inter, it does look like the perfect goalkeeper won an Italian Serie A while he was at Inter, winning it in the 2043-44 season. And in the past 2 seasons, the perfect goalkeeper has won the Goalkeeper of the Year awards at Inter. Looking at the Champions League, it does look like the perfect goalkeeper won quite a few Champions League trophies. It looks like their first experience of a Champions League final would have been in the 2028-2029 season with FC Porto prior to his move to Arsenal, which is an amazing achievement. The perfect goalkeeper must have played a role in Porto making the Champions League final, because I do not see a Portuguese club making it again after that. Then, after being signed by Arsenal, the perfect goalkeeper won the Champions League in the 2032, 2033, 2035, 36, and consecutively in the 41-42 seasons. So the perfect goalkeeper racked up quite a few Champions League victories. Looking at the Golden Glove, the perfect goalkeeper racked up quite a few Golden Gloves as well, winning it for the first time in the 2028-2029 season with FC Porto, winning it again after moving to Arsenal, and having a few Golden Glove wins throughout his time at Arsenal before winning it again in our latest season at Porto. So he is going out on a high for his retirement. And looking at the Goalkeeper of the Year, it looks like he also won quite a few Goalkeeper of the Year awards as well. So the perfect goalkeeper racking up quite a few individual awards. I think the last time we looked at the Philippines with the perfect goalkeeper, we were looking at 2030. So let's see if they won any trophies or made the World Cup since then. So we did get to the Asian Cup second round, but we didn't get past there. It looks like we might have had a decent World Cup qualification group. They did not win the Southeast Asian Games. They did make the World Cup playoff, but lost to Tunisia. That would have been an amazing opportunity to make the World Cup again, but it doesn't look like they got to the World Cup there. And coming to the most recent season, I can confirm the Philippines did not make the World Cup or win another trophy with the perfect goalkeeper. And looking at their history, we are still at those 2 Peace Cups, so they did not win another trophy. So while the perfect player did lead the Philippines to a Southeast Asian Games trophy, the perfect goalkeeper only led them to a World Cup, which I wouldn't say is too shabby. And finally, I'll put up the perfect goalkeeper's biography right here. He did have a very amazing career. He won the UEFA Champions League 4 times with Arsenal, as well as 8 Premier Division titles. And having just joined Inter, he also won 2 Italian Super Cup titles, as well as the Italian Serie A in 2020 and 2044, leading to a total of 37 competition wins. That is a very good career for the perfect goalkeeper. With that, I think we'll do like what we did with the perfect player. Let's move forward 1 season and see how he looks like as manager. Moving forward 1 season, the perfect goalkeeper has now retired and is a manager. And just like the perfect player, he looks absolutely terrible. His managerial stats of 3 motivating, 3 people management are pretty awful. Even as a goalkeeping coach, you would think the perfect goalkeeper would be an excellent goalkeeping coach, but those stats are pretty awful. So I think we'll leave it there today. The perfect goalkeeper had a fantastic career, winning multiple Champions Leagues and English Premier Division titles. And I think we can say that the perfect goalkeeper had a really big impact on the Philippines, leading them to a World Cup, something that even the perfect player didn't do. Thank you all for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and we'll be coming back with some more Football Manager 2023 experiments very soon. Bye.